Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Not your average Talaya here. What? My channel is brand new, but basically what I want to make sure that you guys know is that whenever we're on here, not your average T really just means that we're going to talk about things that are nitty gritty, and I'm not going to hold any bars when I'm talking to you guys, whether it be about what it's like to be a female in the Marine Corps, what it's about to be in the Marine Corps, ways that you can get yourself promoted, or what, you know, how you get honor grad, you know, stuff like that, as well as like just what it's like to be a woman, some of the experiences, some of the things that I've been through. I don't really have a specific format. Like, I'm not talking about one specific genre, so it's not your average tea, because it's just gonna be topics that I care about. And my whole goal is to kind of help people through different situations. So that's just what I'm here for. So I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of information, and it doesn't have any particular like order or sequence. It's just, you know, I'm going to talk about things as they come up. So that's my channel. So obviously I'll get right into it. You guys clicked on this link because I'm pretty sure of what the title said. A little bit about myself. I am an active duty United States Marine. I'm an E6 staff sergeant. I've been doing this for 10 years now. But the information that I'm gonna give you guys today is about my very first relationship, my very first marriage in the Marine Corps. I'm not married now, but it's about my marriage. And kind of how things transpired, what happened, how I survived. And I say survived because, trust me, a bitch survived. Okay. So this is just basically, you know, telling you guys a little bit about it. So I joined the Marine Corps back in 2010, and after I finished up my boot camp and MCT and job school and everything else, my first duty station, I was in Quantico, Virginia. In 2011, I met my ex-husband in January, and we got married in July of that same year. So I tell you guys that because for people who are not familiar with the military, or at least the military mindset, a lot of what we do is like, hurry up, right? And then when it comes to relationships, it's either you're married or you're single. Nobody cares how long you've been together, how long you've been engaged, how long you've known each other, it's your high school sweetheart, whatever. Nobody cares about that. You're either married or you're single, right? So a lot of times relationships in the military, things happen fast. Things are hot and heavy. You get married, you're on the rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, things just happen. So after knowing him for just 6 months, I decided that it was a great idea to marry him, because he was going to be getting out of the Marine Corps and he was going to be gone forever, and I was going to miss him, and it was going to be the worst thing that ever happened. Right? So we ended up getting married. And the craziest part is that, you know, a lot of the people who knew him before I did, a lot of my friends were telling me, like, you know, you really shouldn't be with him. You should really, like, question some of the things about him. Like, you really don't know this guy. Like, you need to take it slow. They were telling me all these things, but me, here I was thinking that I'm just this badass hotness. Like, y'all ain't got what I got. So that's why y'all couldn't handle him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who I thought I was. I thought I was somebody. So I thought that I could do something that they could not. So I really wasn't listening to the guidance of everybody else. I joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old. So that being said, I was only 18 when we met. And in July, I actually turned 19. So we got married 2 days after my birthday. July 16th is my birthday. We got married July 18th. So that's kind of how fast everything went. I had heard that he had a temper, that he was having legal troubles, and that, you know, I needed to be careful. And I didn't take that advice. Who does? When you're in love, who does? Okay. So anyways, I ended up not listening to their advice, and we got married. Now, mind you, he proposed the day after my birthday, which was July 17th. And then the next day, I think I had like duty or something the day after my birthday. And duty is when you stand guard for 24 hours or whatever. But for some reason, I had the next day off. I had July 18th off. And since I had like that day or a half a day off, I guess we both just decided that it was a great idea to just go to the courthouse and get married the day after he proposed. Listen, don't come for me, okay? Because I know you bitches is like, you dumb. And I know you motherfuckers are like, oh, female Marines, basic ass female Marine went out and got married and got pregnant and blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, dude. Like, because no, that's not what happened. I mean, that is exactly what happened, but like, I already know. So you ain't got to leave that shit in the comments, okay? I got it. But at least I can have a baby right out the gate, okay? Listen, I ain't saying, like, you know, those who, you know, the ones who have it, like, you know, but listen, I went and got married, okay? I know that's like typical female Marine, whatever. A lot of people like to make comments about it, but you ain't got to leave it here, because I already know the game. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for a little while. Let me get off my horse, okay? So anyways, I went out and got married. Now, I should have seen the signs I did, actually. When we were dating, there was this one time, I don't remember what happened. It was just something where I think, he might have saw me talking to another guy or something like that. Like in the hallway, in the barracks, just like seeing somebody passing. He made a joke. I laughed. Like, it was funny because a lot of like how I've carried myself in the Marine Corps was that I like to be able to joke with the guys and stuff like that. Like, I don't really take offense to comments. I don't really take offense to things when people come at me sideways. Like, for those of you who want to leave comments about, oh, fucking female Marine, you're going to see that it don't bother me. It just doesn't because I don't give a shit about what you say because I know my place in this world, right? So I think I just made a comment with somebody in the hallway or something like that, but he got upset and he got jealous, and I knew that he was the type to kind of catch an attitude, but I thought that when he caught that attitude and like, came at me sideways, I thought it was just because he was a guy and he was just gonna come at me sideways. And I didn't really think too much of it. So we were in the barracks. We got into an argument that night. He kind of like, put me up against the wall. He didn't like put his hands on me, but like, he kind of like backed me into a corner, put his hand on the wall. And it was like, okay, he got a little attitude. I could deal with that. It's all right, right? That should have been the first time, but I didn't take it seriously. So I'll fast forward. We're married, and we have to get out of the barracks within 10 days. Now, the barracks is obviously where all single Marines stay. If you're not married, you live in one. It's like a dorm or something like that. So we were all there, and hold on. All right. Now, mind you, we're staying with friends, and this is about 10 days after we actually got married. And I went to work, and I remember showing up to work, and they told me that I was registered for some course that I didn't know I was registered for. So immediately after I got to work, I had to take off and fly to the other side of Quantico in the backwoods that was like underdeveloped. And we were doing our training in this little trailer, and it had like bright fluorescent lights. So I'm prone to get migraines, so I had a migraine. So long story short, phones back then weren't what phones are now. And when I tell you we didn't have no service, I mean, like, I had one of them little Motorola, listen, okay? So we didn't have any service, and I wasn't able to like hit him up, text him, or talk to him or anything like that because I was in the back of nowhere, right? So I ended up driving back to the house later on that night. I had a migraine, so I started to head on to sleep. And I was in the room laying down without the lights and stuff like that. He bust the door open, and this was probably like 7, 8 o'clock or something like that. He bust the door open, and he was pissed off because I didn't text him or call him or anything like that until like way late on in the day. Now, mind you, this is the middle of a goddamn work day. What the fuck am I doing during the work day? Except being at work as a little old Lance Corporal. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't able to contact him, but he was pissed off about it. So he comes in and, initially, like, he came in kind of like with a cool head or whatever. He was just pissed off. And then, mind you, me being who I am, my little aggressive ass, I was like, calm down, nigga. Where's the attitude coming from, bitch? Who the fuck? Chill out, right? So I had an attitude, and I know that, and that pissed him off. So after that, he picked me up by my face and my neck. So like, he just grabbed me and picked me up from here, and same thing like under my arm or whatever, and kind of just threw me up against the wall. And at this point, it was kind of like fight, flight, or freeze. Like, if y'all ever heard of that. Instead of knowing me, knowing the little hot ball I was, I thought in that moment I would fight, but I didn't. I froze because I was in shock. I just married this dude like a couple days ago, and I didn't think that it was possible for somebody to do that to me. You know what I'm saying? And to me, of all people, like, don't get it twisted. Like, you see this little bit of weight. You saw my crazy ass child. I just had a baby, but don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I don't fuck around. Okay. And even then, like, I've always had this ferocity inside of me. I grew up in a household of Black and Puerto Rican women, and just around women in general who, I mean, most of which are single, but most of them is because they didn't tolerate no shit. Most of the people that I know, most of the women that I know, when it comes to guys, are like, I wish a motherfucking bitch would. Like, run that shit, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I will be PC, I promise. But most of the women that I know cut a fucking motherfucker's face off, right? So from me, My immediate response, I thought, was gonna be, I'm gonna fucking pick something up and beat this nigga's ass. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But that's not what happened. What happened was that I froze because I was in shock because I couldn't believe that it had happened and was happening to me, right? So after that happened, I remember wiggling my way down and trying to get away from him or whatever. And I at this point, once I unfroze myself, my next move was to run, get the fuck out of there. Because you have to keep in mind, I'm 5'0". Hey, I talk big, but I'm not that tall. Okay, I'm big, but I'm not that tall. So I'm 5'0", even flat. Okay, and he's about 5'9", 5'10". I can't remember, and he's about 185, 170 to 185. Like that was his scale, but of raw muscle. This man had like 3 to 4% body fat. So raw muscle, right? Now I'm 5'0", and I was about 128 pounds at the time. Now I say that just because I knew that I did not have a fighting chance. I just didn't. Listen, I know that a lot of people are talking about, oh, men and women are equal. Not until you've been slammed up against a motherfucking wall by a motherfucker who is nothing but raw ass muscle, and you just got this tiny ass little, I think I'm fit kind of body. Don't get it twisted. There's a fucking difference, okay? So I knew I didn't have a chance, and I wasn't trying to lose my life, okay? So I tried to take off. I tried to make a run for it, but I was clotheslined and basically tossed onto the floor. Now, once I hit the floor, I realized this motherfucker is crazy. I realized that I needed to get out of there, or else I probably was going to end up dead or something, because I didn't know what was going to happen, because this has never happened to me before. So I remember like scrambling and trying to get out, and I found myself laying, completely parallel up against the wall. And the only thing I remember was seeing that motherfucker's foot come down from the heavens right into my motherfucking face. That dude kicked the shit out of me. All right. Now I tried to like shake it off and get out of there. And at this point, my mind was just hazed, right? Like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? So again, I tried to make a run for it. And he grabbed me with both hands and choked me out. Now, if you've never had somebody put their hands around your throat and actually choke you out to the point where you pass out, I don't think you can even begin to understand how terrifying that is. It's not like somebody shooting you, and I'm not, anybody who's suffered any of these things, I apologize, but just to make an example, it's not like somebody shooting you from a distance. When you're being choked by someone, you are looking them square in the face as they take your life out of your body. You see them and you're wondering why, how, stop, please, what the fuck? Am I gonna die? I don't even care. I just wanna breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something inside of you that fight. Like, the thing you see in movies when people are like scratching, like fighting and trying to just get out. It's a real thing. Like, and then you don't even know when you pass out. You just are not. You don't even know. Like, but there's a desire in you that's just like, I want to breathe. And then you wake up. If you wake up, hopefully you do. But then you just wake up. And when that happened to me, I don't know when I passed out. I don't know how long he was squeezing before I passed out, but I do know that when I woke up, my entire body was cold. And I thought, did I die? You know what I'm saying? Like the first thought in my mind was terror. My body was cold and I was full of terror. Not just like regular fear, but it was like, where am I? Where is he? Did I die? How long was I out? Is my body paralyzed? Did he cut anything? Am I a vegetable? Can I just not feel whatever he did? Where is he at? Like, you immediately go into panic and just sheer actual terror. And to my delightful surprise, I look down, like, mind you, I'm laying on the ground. So I look down towards my belly button and I just see him. He's not sitting on a chair or anything. He's kind of just, he's, sitting on top of a shoebox or something, but he's sitting on something where he's just kind of propped up and he's just staring at me. It's expressionless. You know how fucking terrifying it is for somebody to stare at you expressionless, as if they didn't just almost kill you and maybe he was thinking, oh, did I kill her? Fuck, this is gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on in his mind, but he was just staring at me. my damn near lifeless body. I don't even know, was I breathing? I don't fucking know. I mean, obviously I woke up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just staring at me. Now, again, the look on his face. So apparently I'm Captain Save a fucking Psycho. And if you've ever been with someone, or not even just been with someone, but if you've never seen real bloodlust, I don't know if y'all watch anime. I do. I'm a fucking anime nerd. Let's go. But I don't know if you guys watch anime, but you know, there's like a scene in every single anime where the villain or whoever it is, they just have this fucking bloodlust. Like, they're just gonna kill somebody and just rage the fuck out, right? It happens in every single anime. And the last one I saw it in was Hunter x Hunter, of course, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. But anyways, but they have this like just raw bloodlust. And basically the look on their face changes. It goes from being like, you know, normal me every day, you know, just doing whatever, to like this crazy psycho demon, like creepy. It's so fucking terrifying. It's terrifying. And that's what happened to his face. Like, it went from just a normal, like, human face, the person that I married, to like this dude who, it's completely expressionless, but it's fucking terrifying because something inside of him, I believe, wanted to kill me, or thought that maybe he did, and he was going to have to come to terms with he just did and whatever came next. All because I didn't send him a text. And the fucked up part is that he did this the first 10 days we were married, July 27th. That's the anniversary. Now, I don't remember a lot of things. I don't remember a lot of dates. I don't remember a lot of times, places, faces, names, etc. But I'll never forget that date because, one, it was my best friend's birthday from high school. And two, how just that many days after we got married was I, you know, that to you, right? So long story short, once I came to again, I went to flight. I just went to leave. And as I was walking out of the room, I remember turning back and hearing like things shattering, and then just like whatever the fuck commotion was in the room. And it was just him by himself. So I ran back in the room just to see what it was. And it was him punching himself like in the face, like hardcore, like as if he were fighting somebody, like punch, like no bullshit. And my immediate response, even though I had been kicked in the face, fucking busted lip, busted eyes, everything, my immediate response was to go back in the room and grab hold of him so that he would stop hurting himself. Right. Why? I don't know. To this day, I don't know. You know, there was a part of me when I met him that had so much hope for the world. And there's a part of me that just wants to love, especially those who are sick. You know, like, I feel like the people that are misunderstood and the people who go through things in their lives and they don't have anybody else and they don't have anybody to talk to and they don't have anywhere to turn. Like, I want to be that person that kind of just, you know, you can talk to me. You can trust me. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm not going to leave you. And that's just who I've always been. So even after he hurt me, I couldn't allow myself to allow him to keep hurting himself. And that was the part of me that was colorful. That was the part of me that was beautiful. And I think that's what attracted me to him and attracted him to me also. It was to, you know, we describe ourselves in colors, and he was gray when I met him and I was a pretty rainbow. And then eventually, you know, before we divorced, he had stolen my rainbow and I had then become gray. So there was a transition period where he had basically drained everything out of me to the point where I couldn't anymore. But I digress. Just kind of going back to it, that night after I turned back around and stopped him from hitting himself, I realized, like, I got to get out of here though. As much as I don't want him to hurt himself, he's fucking crazy and I got to go. So I'm in my pajamas. I grabbed my fucking, I don't even think I had anything. Actually, I didn't grab anything. Sorry. I just ran straight downstairs and I put on my shoes. I had car keys, I had a wallet and all that stuff, but I didn't grab any of that. And I just went walking down the street and I couldn't believe anything that happened to me. I was trying to process everything and I was just walking down the road, and he eventually ran out and followed me and was apologizing and saying like he doesn't know what happened. He didn't mean to. He was sorry. And mind you, I mean, I wasn't that gullible. I wasn't just like, oh my gosh, okay, it's okay. You know, I was still like, no, fuck you, dog. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was just like, but he's sick, man. And he's really, like, he was genuinely sorry. And it was almost like, is this motherfucker, like, does he really have a split personality? Because he is crazy. Like, just a minute ago, he was not who he is right now. Like, night and day. Like, again, if you've never met somebody who maybe has multiple personalities or something like that, like you couldn't even begin to understand. He was not that person 20 minutes ago. And at that point, I realized something was wrong with him and someone needed to protect him. And it was going to be me. So he follows me. We're walking. It had to be about 5 miles that we were walking, because it got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was tired. My face hurt. My body hurt. Everything on me hurt, but I didn't have a wallet. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have keys. I didn't have anything. So he was behind me and he told me that he would get me a cab, which he did, and then a hotel room. And then he kind of just took me there. And I told him that I wanted to stay there. I didn't want him there. I needed time to kind of just think it out. He was fine with that. And he ended up sitting in the hallway. And then at some point I felt bad. So I let him in like a dummy. And when he got in the room, he didn't do anything, but my face was all bruised up, battered up, swollen. So he called my boss, which was also his friend, and he told him that I wasn't going to be able to come to work for the next couple of days because I was fucked up. So I don't know what they said to each other, but the agreement that they had was that I wasn't going to come to work for 3 days. And I guess I was covered because they figured it out. So that's what happened. Now, mind you, this is the first 10 days after we got married. We were married for 5 years. And we had some good years. Cumulatively, it probably equated to about a year. But majority of our marriage was me in fear of what would happen next. I won't go into detail about every single thing that happened throughout the time because that would be insane. But I would tell you that a lot of the marriage was me feeling like I had done something wrong and trying to be better so that he wouldn't be mad at me, and trying to do things that would make him happy, which in turn pissed him off more because I was trying to be perfect and he didn't want perfection. He wanted someone who was real, but I didn't know how to be real because I was too afraid to be real, because every time I was real, I got slapped or pushed down fucking stairs. So, when we ended up separating, the separation story is this. I guess I'll just fast forward to that. I was on a little UDP, which is like a unit deployment or whatever. And I was in Australia, and it was a 6-month rotation. And I was there by myself. Obviously, without him, he wasn't there. And that was the first time that I had really been away from him. And right before I went on deployment, he was a staple in the community. Everybody fucking loved him. Nobody really knew who I was because he was so legit, right? And that's the sad part, because I think a lot of people thought that, when I finally did start speaking out and saying some of the things, a lot of people were like, nah, he couldn't do that. He would not do that. Like, he is not that kind of person. Like, you must be some kind of psycho ass bitch. And you can say what you want. You can say what the fuck you want. But I slept with that nigga. I know what the fuck that nigga was capable of. So, but anyways, so yeah, he was a staple. So not a lot of people knew what he did. So he was actually, on this, I'm not going to explain it, but he was on the color guard, which is basically the people who hold the flags during ceremonies. And he was able to travel to, Thailand to go do a ceremony over in Thailand. And he was there for 3 nights. And the first night he was there, we talked on the phone. The second night he was there, we talked on the phone. The third night, he didn't answer the phone. And I got this feeling in my stomach. I just got this gut-wrenching feeling like something is not right. Because he would normally answer at this time. And it was about 9 o'clock where he was. And I was like, I know for a fact he's not asleep. What is he doing? He flew over there by himself. He's not there with any of his peers or any of his buddies, because it was like a joint ceremony where he was doing color guards with other services, not other Marines. So I was like, something's not right, but I'm going to just let it go and I'm going to just go to sleep. I knew it. I fucking knew it. The next day, I went to go pick him up from the airport, and I was all excited to see him because, it'd been 3 days. And I was like, I missed you. And he got off the plane and everything was good. And then we went to go sit down. We went to go eat some tacos at one of our favorite spots. And he went to go like pass me the salsa or something like that. And he reached for it. And I saw a fucking fat ass hickey on his neck. Now, mind you, this dude is black as I don't know what. You know what I mean? He ain't dark as night, but this nigga is black. And he had hickeys on his neck. And when he got off the plane, I remember thinking, man, his lips are really red. And I was like, nah, that's probably just whatever, you know? And then I saw that big old hickey on his neck. And my stomach just dropped. I was like, bro, you were in Thailand for 3 days. And you weren't even there with somebody that you knew. Like you were, I could see like if you went there and you was with some fellow Marines and one thing led to another, whatever. But you were in a foreign country. What trannies you been sleeping with? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, come on, bro. Like, but I was like, I couldn't, right? So I say that because this happened a couple days before I went on my UDP. So in my mind, the whole time, I was thinking like, yo, my husband was gone for 3 days and he slept with somebody else. And now I'm about to but now I'm about to go out on a UDP for 6 months. I was like, yo, he's going to be sleeping with everybody in my house. You know, so I felt like this gut-wrenching feeling or whatever. So I ended up going out with one of my girls. We went to this club. Now, mind you, when I was with my ex-husband, I turned into somebody who I did not recognize. I mean, listen, I curse, I do, but I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. And I know that's like an oxymoron, but really, like at one point I wanted to be a pastor. And I'm not going to get into it right now. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but during this time, I wasn't listening to any rap music. I wasn't listening to like just anything. Like all I listened to was gospel. All I did was spend all my time in the church. Like I was just heavily devoted to the church. So when I went out with my girl, we went out to dinner and it was like 11 o'clock or something like that. And mind you, we're on the Strip and we're at Cheesecake Factory and we were like, girl, let's go out. Cause we were both having issues. So we were like, let's go out. So we ran across the street to the little, what's that store called? When I remember it, probably after I edit this video, I'm gonna just put it up on the screen. But anyway, we went out to go get some clothes and we bought these little outfits and then we just walked down the street because at this point it was like midnight and that's when, everything was starting to get hot. So we went to this little club. We called it the kids club because it was like 18 and up. But we were like, whatever, let's just go in there. I like to do ratchet things with my ratchet friends. And no, but we went in there and this was our first time going out in God knows how long. And we were there, and I remember thinking, like, I don't know any of this hibbity hoppity. All this yeah. I was like, what the fuck is going on in here? I'm trying to, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm old now, apparently. So I didn't know any of the music, and I didn't really know any of the songs, but I really wanted to dance. So, I found myself dancing or whatever, and, like, anytime anybody would come up and try to dance on us, neither one of us were interested because we knew like it's a small island. I was stationed in Hawaii. It's a small island. Everybody knows everybody, right? So we ended up like, having a little good time and then realizing that we really couldn't really get into it. I was driving, so I wasn't drinking. So I was like, all right, let's go. So we ended up going home and, didn't think anything of it. A couple days later, my ex-husband comes home mad as fuck. And I don't know why he's so mad. He gets there and he tells me that he went to this little gathering or whatever, and some Marine was like, hey, you're such and such. Isn't your wife such and such? Yeah, I saw her at the club and she was on somebody's shoulders and somebody's face was all up in her crotch and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, fuck. He came home and told me that. And I was like, oh, bitch, where? Like, I'm a Christian. Like... I know for a fact that did not happen. And I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I don't know who told him. I don't know who saw what, but I was like, I know for sure. I could tell you exactly what I was wearing. And I can tell you for sure they didn't see whatever I was wearing on that person's shoulder. So whoever he was talking about, whatever, but he wasn't trying to hear that. So we got, it really never really was arguments. It was just him telling me what the fuck was about to happen. And then it happened. So, he grabs me by my hair and he just starts smashing me in my stomach, tossed me downstairs, and he's chasing me around the house. And I remember like scurrying across the kitchen or across the living room table over to the couch and just trying to like find a corner to fucking hide in because I knew this motherfucker was about to knock my head in. Like, I didn't even do this shit and I'm running for my life. And so, and I say this because I don't think you know how hard it is for me to admit this. I'm a fucking firecracker. I will fucking fight your bitch ass, right? That's how I am. But when it came to him, I couldn't raise a finger to him. This motherfucker was beating my ass. But because I loved him, I couldn't hurt him. I don't understand how it makes sense. I don't get it. But it's true. Okay, so that's basically what happened. And he grabbed me by my stomach, punched me, or grabbed me by my hair, punched me my stomach, pushed me downstairs. And this was right before I was going on deployment. So now fast forward back to the deployment. I'm there and I'm just thinking like, it's the first time I've ever been away from him in for the first time ever, I'm happy. Like, I'm not happy because I know what's going on in my bed probably, but I'm happy. And that's okay. That's enough for me right now. And so I finally decided that my life meant more than our relationship. While I was there, he never called me. Whenever I did call him, it was more important to play his game than to talk to me, or for him to talk to his friends while he was on the phone with me. It was more important for him to talk to them. So it was just kind of like, yo, this dude is real disrespectful. He's like mad disrespectful. And he really doesn't love me. And I really could be better without him. And so, I come back from the deployment and I realized that I didn't want to be with him anymore. I didn't want to go through the pain anymore. And I couldn't bear it anymore. And after I decided to divorce him, I realized that the entire time that I was with him and I was suffering, I didn't need to be suffering. I couldn't see it while I was in it because I was embarrassed. I was too embarrassed to tell anybody about it. The one time I did tell my command about it, they ended up asking me what I wanted to do about it, and what I wanted to do about it. And I told them that, I didn't want to press charges or anything. I never admitted that he actually put his hands on me because I didn't want to get him in trouble. The entire time, I never wanted to ruin his career. I never wanted to get him in trouble, so I would never admit it to anyone. I became a martial arts instructor. During the time that we were married, we were both in the course together. I was the only female in the course, and I was fucking fighting. I was fighting dudes. Like, fighting dudes. But I still couldn't put my hands on him. He knew what I was capable of. I broke a motherfucker's nose in the course. He knew what I was capable of. But I couldn't fight him. So once I finally realized that my life meant more than keeping him safe or keeping him happy, we finally divorced. And the entire relationship, I think that there were people who knew just along the way, because there were kind of people that I told, but I never asked for help. I never asked anybody to help me get out of it, to help me see past it. And to be completely honest, if anybody would have helped me, I think that I would have resented them. Because I used to do this thing when I was young, and it's basically like, if I have a plate of food, I can't just throw a plate of food in the trash if it's still good food. Either I'll save it for later or I have to eat it right now, right? That's just my thing. So in order for me to throw away perfectly good food, I had to completely destroy it. I had to crush it up, put milk in my mac and cheese or whatever, whatever it was. I had to destroy it. So that's kind of how I felt about my relationship. If anybody else would have stopped our relationship, if somebody would have called the cops, if somebody would have, done something that stopped our relationship, I probably would have resented that person, and I always would have went back to him. My mom always says, when you're done, you're done. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with me. Once I finally decided that my life had value, that I fucking mattered, and that I didn't have to walk around my house on fucking eggshells because this dude thinks that I'm not good enough. Once I realized that, nobody could stop me. And when I went to go divorce him, I looked like the cold-hearted bitch. Everybody thought I was just a cold-hearted bitch because he was such a good guy, and there's no way he could have done anything, and he really misses you, and he loves you, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers never saw that nigga's face change. Y'all have never seen him for who he really fucking is. And until that day, I will proudly walk around with this bitch on my fucking shoulder all day, every day. I have no problem doing so because nobody ever got to see him except me. But I wanted to share that with you guys because I think you guys need to understand that when you're in an abusive relationship, your mind changes. When a male or a female is in an abusive relationship, it's like your brain doesn't function properly. Y'all know how love is. Love make you do dumb stuff. You be on the phone, upside down on the bed, playing with the broom and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you be doing dumb stuff when you're in love. And it happens. And even when you're in an abusive relationship, it happens. And that's not to say that all Marines are bad. That's not to say that all people in the military are bad. That's not to say that all women or men are bad. It's just sometimes, toxic people find themselves in toxic relationships. And to my defense, as a woman, as a female Marine, as a Marine in general, I thought I had it. I thought I could handle it. I never asked for help. I never reached out because I was tough. I didn't want anybody to see my vulnerability. I was a motivator. I'm always like, ah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me nothing, ah, When I was a sergeant, I was all over the place. Like, I was motivated, right? But that was like the tears of a clown. Nobody ever got to see the real me because I didn't want them to. And it damaged me. Now, here I am, we got divorced in 2017. It's 2020. So I'm still in therapy. I'm still going to counseling. I still talk about him and the things that he did, and my relationships and my personal life and everything that I do is still affected by him. On a daily basis, I'll find myself, calling out to, the person that I'm with. And sometimes I accidentally start to say the wrong name. That relationship traumatized me. But I will tell you this. As a female and as a female Marine, although I got a lot of hate for divorcing him, and nobody actually really knew why, and I felt no desire to explain myself to anybody, the people who did know, they took care of me. They believed me because of the way that I carried myself. Everyone knew that I wasn't the type of person to cry wolf. I just wasn't. And when everything did happen, the protection of the Marines around me was just unbelievable. My command, they took it seriously. They separated me. They gave me the time that I need. They gave me the space that I needed. And I don't know, just overall, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that kind of care if I wasn't in the military. And I wouldn't have gotten the kind of growth, the kind of experience, the ability to go to a completely new place and start over, the ability for people to see past my pain and give me opportunities and distractions, essentially. I don't feel like I would have gotten any of that had I not been in the Marine Corps. So I will say that, although it was a traumatic experience and I did go through a lot of it alone, it was mostly because of me. So what I'll say is this, to go ahead and sum this up. I survived my abusive relationship. One, because I have this unrelenting desire to quit, but that doesn't mean that it didn't fuck me up, right? Not mentally, physically, that shit fucked me up. But I have this unrelenting desire to just not quit. I will not fucking quit, and I will not fucking back up or back down. It just won't happen. This is not going to be my end, right? And that's how I was able to bounce back from that kind of relationship. And I just know now what I will never fucking do again, because I fucking matter. I know what I will and will not stand for. I know what I will and will not tolerate, and I'll be fucking goddamn. The next bitch ain't going to get this kind of love. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to kind of recover and be vulnerable again, but in a good way. It did teach me a lot. So you can recover from an abusive relationship. But if you are in that kind of relationship, I just tell you this. When you are done, you are done. All you have to do is remember that your life matters, and that you matter, and that you cannot change that person, and that you will never, ever be able to be Captain Save a Psycho. If that motherfucker is crazy, call the cops and get the fuck on. You hear me? Let the world take care of itself. You can't save everybody. That's pretty much, all I'll give you guys. I know there's probably questions. I know I might have skipped over some parts. I know this video is long as hell. But if you have questions, comments, concerns, whatever, if you stuck around this long, shit, hit me up. I got you. I'll answer any questions you got, and I might post another video. But I just basically want to tell you guys, you can get the support that you need. You fucking matter and you deserve it. And don't let fucking anybody shit on your shine, baby. If you're getting hurt, if you're not being treated properly or something like that, fucking tell somebody. Somebody gives a shit. You know who cares? I care. And I'll help you any way I can. I promise you. You're not alone out there. And if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here. So as they say, like, comment, share, subscribe, do what you gotta do to get this video out there. If you know somebody who's struggling, you know somebody who really needs somebody to talk to, hit me up. There's all kinds of emergency helplines and things like that you can talk to, and I'll get you in touch with the right person if that's what it takes. I got you guys. I love you. This is Not Your Average Tea. Average.